Hi, welcome to Maintain Me's Older Adult Helper channel. And I'm Morgan. This is Chelsea. And today we have a topic of are small assisted livings better than large communities? So today's focus is going to actually be on the pros of small assisted living communities. Now, that's not to say that we're harping on the big places. That's just going to be a video for another day. So stay tuned. We will cover the pros of the large places, but today we are focusing on the pros of small assisted living communities.
Yes, awesome. This is such a fun topic because I've been seeing this be kind of a growing popularity, is looking towards a small one. So the first thing we're going to be talking about, which is one of the big pros that Morgan and I think of these small communities, is the all-inclusive pricing. So I'm going to give just a quick example and not get into it, but oftentimes when we are helping seniors who have either lived at home always or who have a progressive disorder where every day kind of looks a little different, and progressive order being maybe some cognitive impairments, not having to necessarily be dementia, but some cognitive impairments, where maybe one day it's easy to do a shower and the next day it's not, or pain oftentimes will cause each day to look a little different. I'm trying to think of some other examples of daily
Parkinson's or
Parkinson's, yes. Any kind of mental health disorder can sometimes have fluctuations, anything like that. So we believe that we don't ever want somebody's bank account to reflect what their day looks like. So if one day they're having a really hard day and they need help with everything, and the next day they're able to do it on their own, we don't want there to also be a fluctuation in how much they're paying. And so this all-inclusive pricing is wonderful because you agree to this place, you know what your monthly rent is, and that can sometimes be one number. It can sometimes be that rent plus your care, but most times than not, this is a pretty inclusive price. And so, it's not moving all the time. We're not seeing a la carte type payment models. We're not seeing a lot of point systems that are a little more fluctuating. And that oftentimes makes people feel a lot better about asking for help when they need it, and not feeling like every time they ask for help that it's going to be affecting their wallet.
Very well said. And I'm going to move us into then number 2. So pros of small assisted livings is just in the name. It's smaller. So as we get older and maybe our mobility isn't great, maybe the idea of walking 100 feet, because some large buildings require you to walk at least 100 feet to an elevator down to the dining room. And you don't do that 3 times a day for 3 meals. You do that 6 times a day. And if you go out for activities, then you're maybe doing that 8, 10 times a day, which if you aren't having a mobility concern, great. It's excellent exercise. But if it's so taxing for you to get out of your apartment, down a hall to the elevator that you are gassed, you're winded, are you going to go and enjoy yourself? Probably not. You're exhausted. And you may start to become fearful of making that commute, if you will, because you're afraid you're going to fall. So imagine this. You're living in a smaller footprint. You're conserving your energy. You have easy access to the kitchen, to the dining room, to the activities. You can do exercise class. You can do all the fitness things that you would like, but you have this smaller footprint that's much more contained and manageable. And if you feel like you're not getting enough exercise, we'll do some power laps then. It doesn't have to be that you are forced to have long walks to have a comfortable living situation.
Yes, that's awesome. And that kind of leads us into the third pro of, choosing a smaller assisted living versus a big one. And that is this apartment versus home-like feel, right? So this small community, it's not just about being able to get to and from places, but it's also like kind of the environment feel. And so if you're coming from home and you have never lived in an apartment, and then you're able to just go into that home-like environment, that oftentimes feels a little less scary. It feels that you're still going to have people around you. You're used to having your family or friends close by. This isn't for everyone, but people who typically choose a small community, they actually enjoy those things. They enjoy having their own personal space, but at the same time, still being surrounded by other people that they genuinely, and you build and you cultivate friendships and kind of that family feel. We've seen a lot of our clients who will kind of build a role in those homes. And, maybe there was a mom who raised her kids her whole life and she was so used to having them home. And now she has all of these other people who also she might have a strength over somebody that she lives with that doesn't. And she finds value in being able to, be that motherly figure to that person or help out in ways that they might not be able to. So it's definitely it's a culture. It's really nice to have that small home-like feel and not feel like you're going from home to maybe an apartment style living, where it might feel a little more secluded than having your friends and family right there, enjoying dinners and even just coffee in the morning together out in the living room. So definitely a culture, a feel, and it isn't for everyone, but the people who choose this community typically really enjoy that.
Great points, Chelsea. And that brings us to number 5. So oftentimes smaller residential communities are also locally owned. You have ownership that lives nearby, sometimes right next door, I've seen in the house next door. So if you have a problem and you need to talk to somebody immediately, and you need to talk to somebody who has some authority to actually make a change that you're noticing, or fix a shortcoming or correct an error, if you have to go first to the resident care coordinator, then the resident care coordinator needs to go to the administrator, and then the administrator needs to go to the ownership. But the ownership is actually a really large corporation in Tennessee.
Right.
3 more steps before they actually get to a decision maker, maybe even a board of directors, who can then pass down the change or make that correction. So by this time, if it's something serious, you're as the consumer gonna be angry. You're not gonna have anything resolved. You're gonna feel taken advantage of, and it's a really yucky place to be. Speaking from experience. So if you are in this small kind of, local business, mom and pop, we hear a lot of times, and you have an issue, oh, look, here comes the owner walking in right now, just check on things and see how they're going. Perfect. Hey, owner, think I could grab 5 minutes of your time? The problem is addressed. You feel heard, and you're not spending another 10 days reeling in your anger while you wait for a solution. This person is here, they're in front of you. You maybe even are like on a first name basis, and you call each other or text each other. I've seen a ton. The owners someone moves in, family has a problem. Okay, what should the family do if they have a problem? Well, they should call me. They should tell me right now, because I want to know so I can fix it.
Yeah, I was thinking when you were just saying that even, as we help families and they're transitioning in, and then families are coming back to us, we always check in and see how things are going. And they're saying, this could be better, or this was some of the struggles that we had, or during the transition, whatever, right? Us, even as transition coordinators, we too can go to the owners about concerns. Whereas think about if we are talking with a larger community, some of our larger community partners, because we partner with both, it is a lot harder to make sure that we are advocating for our clients and making sure that things have changed before the next client. And so I think it goes all the way around, like whether it's you as a client or your family, or even your representative, I think no matter what it is, being able to just go straight to the top and say, hey, this didn't go very well. Like I think it's reassuring for everyone.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Today we talked and kind of leaned in on, are smaller assisted livings better than the bigger ones? I don't think we can really answer that for people, which is why we took the strategy of really talking about the pros of a small community. Stick around or hang out, subscribe now, and then hit that notification bell, because we are going to also be talking about the other way around. So if you know that small communities are not for you, you're going to want to see this next video of are larger communities better than smaller ones? And we're going to talk about some of the pros of that as well, because it's not a one size fits all. So thank you so much for joining us today. And we hope you have a wonderful week.
Thank you.
Bye.